Hello my boys, good morning. I just arrived from the kitchen because today I want to talk about my leak starter in patch 0.2 from POEGuy 2. In case you missed it, I did an updated build guide for my build here with the patch 0.2 changes. You might want to check it out if you want to give this build a try. I've been playing this build for more than 2 months in 0.1. It's my main build in POEGuy at the moment. It's very tanky, can be made cheap, but enough talking, I explained everything here. Here I will explain and give you some tips for leak starting with this build. What you need to understand is that this build here was designed for the end game. Yeah? So when I made this build here, my whole focus was the end game. So I wanted a build that could clear waste on 15 and 16 on a tight budget, especially useful for leak starts and very tanky. Because doesn't matter if you have millions of DPS if you die and you waste that map. Yeah, so you want a build that is extremely tanky, which this build is, by the way. The campaign, you will do it just once. You will progress it just once, and in the end game, you will stay forever. So my focus for this build was for the end game. But in this beautiful video, I will show you how I will progress my campaign in case you want to do it too. Because Warrior is one of the classes that has a weaker early act progression at the moment. You know, it's kind of slow, but I have a fix for it without any problems. So I explained yesterday for campaign progression. If you want to leak start from scratch, I suggested to go with MRLLAMA's leveling progression here. I will also put a link to POEGuy to his guide here in the description of this video. So basically he has a POB here, and you go with Act 1, you see the gems that he did here, and you also have the skill tree progression for Act 1, you see in order to allocate, and I will follow it exactly. And I will transition from his build here into my Totem Master build. And in this video I will talk about the transition. If you don't like his guide here, or you don't like MRLLAMA, you can follow whatever Warrior leak start scenario guide. Doesn't matter, because we will transition eventually into my build. So let's say you don't want to do MRLLAMA's here progression for leak start. Let's go back here. No problem. You find another guide for Warrior that has the first acts explained. Yeah, because Warrior sucks. I did my research, and from my opinion, this is pretty solid. Because all the Warrior leveling guide on leak start suck. Oh, they all suck. But this one, it's really actually it's viable. I took a look at this setup and I said, okay, this is actually good, might work. And I suggested to go with this one. Yeah. Then you will transition into my Totem Master build. Yeah, and in this beautiful video, I will explain the transition for leak start. Here you have the build guide. Keep in mind that I will update this written guide also, because they will add 100 more support gems, and I will also do changes to the skill tree here, because they actually buffed some of these Ascendancy nodes, especially this one. This will free up some skill nodes on the passive tree. Not only that, I will do daily summaries on my channel from 0 to hero playlist, so you know each time I leak start, I like to do these things 0 to hero, so people can see a daily summary for each day with my progression. I will do it also for my Totem Master here. So this is my main build, and it's also my leak starter. Also keep in mind, ignore this message at the top. POEGuy put this for all the builds. Yeah, my build is perfectly viable. Yeah, I even did the updated build guide here. Okay, my boys, now let's talk about the transition. So you follow the Warrior leak start scenario guide, and you want to transition into my build here, which is pretty easy actually. I need to explain. What you need to understand that we scale damage greatly via gem levels. Yeah? So for the transition, it's very important to have the following. You'll want a one-handed mace with gem levels. You don't care about the other modifiers, just gem levels. Even on leak start, because it's just one modifier that we look for, there should be plenty on the trade website for cheap. Yeah? The more gem levels it has, the better. This mace, for example, can roll up to 5, which we will use for early mapping. Plus 5 was explained in the guide. So you can see. Plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, you see, you use this, and you want also some gloves with a plus 1 level of all melee skills. This you can use it in campaign. So in campaign you will find with plus 1 level of melee skills. This will bump the damage of your totems greatly. You also want this amulet item of Full Doom. On leak start, this amulet it's around 5 exalted orbs, 10 exalted orbs. Yeah, so it's pretty cheap, because at the moment people open the trade website and they've seen Idol of Full Doom. I don't know why, for 3 divines, 5 divines. I think it's because of my guide from yesterday. You know, few people play now POEGuy 2, and all the amulets got bought up. But this is a cheap amulet, I need to stress. This is a very cheap amulet, and this is also a very cheap shield. But Let's say the apocalyptic happens, this is more than 10 chaos orb, no problem. You will use temporarily a rare amulet with plus level of melee skills, if that is the case. Yeah, so if you cannot afford an Uldum amulet for the transition, you will just buy a rare amulet with plus level of melee skills. This can roll up to +3. The more gem levels, the better. Maybe you'd get with +2. Pretty much this is it. So these are the items that you'll use for the transition if you want to do it in the campaign. Keep in mind that you can also use Rise of the Phoenix shield, or if you want more damage, you can even use dual wield maces. So you can have 2 maces, one here and one here. This will give you more gem levels for your totems, meaning more early damage. Yeah, you'll sacrifice a little defenses because you're not using a shield, but if you move around, everything will be fine because totems target do everything for you. You just move in circles like a bitch. This is how it plays. Good. Now let's talk about the skill tree progression here, what you need to do on League Start. So whatever guide you do, fine. When you want to transition, you need to understand that you need to have some gold in order to respec with Doriani. Now the respec cost will be cheap for campaign, will be much more cheaper, and you will have, most likely you will have some gold in order to respec. It's essential when you respec that you rush for the bottom totem nodes. You want to take this node, Watchtowers, that will grant you 1 additional number of summon totems, and you also want to take Ancestral Artifice that will give you 1 extra totem, so +2 totems. So it's mandatory for the respec to allocate these 2 nodes. Also you want to take this one and this one. Good. And also you want to go for the Resolute technique, so your hits will hit. This is important, will give you huge damage boost. After this, take whatever for the campaign, I don't care. If you want block, you will go for block. If you want more totem related skills, go for skills. You can also take this for more damage, it's up to you. But it's mandatory to take this two at the bottom. Also keep in mind that I will do daily summaries so you can get inspirations out of it. Usually I'm pretty fast guy. Each day I will put my progress and I will give you indications of my skill tree progression of my items. I know this patch changed a bunch of things for this build, but I'm doing my best to keep it up to date. Yeah, for you. But this is what you need to understand. You will rush for the bottom totem nodes and then you will allocate Resolute technique. Another thing that you need to understand is that Ancestral Warrior Totem, it gets unlocked at level 52. This means that the earliest that you can transition into my setup, sadly, will be in Act 4, which will be this one. Act 1, 2, 3, this is pretty much Act 4. So around this area, you can transition into the build, yeah, which is important to know, because you don't have access to the skill gem, Ancestral Warrior Totem. Now, for the gems that you will use here, because you know you need to apply Jeweler's Orb, yeah, you will use the gems in this order that was provided. So you'll put Ancestral Warrior Totem, you will put Thunder, you will put Brutality, you will put Heavy Swing, and you put Heft. Okay, this will put it later. Upheaval, this is a great gem that helps with map clears in Waystone 15-16, but you will do it later. It's fine without it, don't worry. The build is fine. But remember to always upgrade your gem levels. This is a very common mistake that a lot of sucky boys piss POEGuy off. I explained that you want to level up your gems. So you'll drop in the campaign uncut skill gems. You want to use them. Not only that you want to use them, you use them for Thunder and you use them for Ancestral Warrior Totem. You can also use an Orb of Storms. This we trigger. We use it in order to trigger Font of Rage that will give us Rage. This is a big damage boost even in the campaign. And also Font of Blood that will give you a lot of life regeneration on top. Yeah. So you also want this for the campaign. It's pretty easy. Basically, it will work just this. Put Orb of Storms, Font of Blood, Font of Rage, and you have a simple setup like this. For the aura in the campaign, you will use Time of Need. This basically will heal you and remove curses and elemental ailments, which is good. Yeah, you can also add Lip Slam. The Blasphemy setup, you will do it later. Maybe you will need another aura of your choice with the remaining spirit, or you can put also Vitality here. You can support it here, so you have even more life regeneration. Yeah. This will raise the spirit cost. You can put Vitality if you want somewhere here. Good. This build is very tanky, was explained, and now I want to give you some tricks. Man, let's say you get stuck in the campaign. Maybe you suck at Path of Exile, but because you watch POEGuy, I will give you some tricks. The most potent trick that actually nobody talks, usually streamers play alone and people watch streamers and they think, man, this is how I need to play. No. On League Start in Path of Exile, we have a thing called Public Party. So here it will be a list, full list from up to down, thousands of parties, especially on League Start, that adapt based on the acts. So let's say you're in Act 1, you will only see public parties from Act 1. Let's say you're in Act 2, you will only see public parties from Act 2, from Act 3, and you can join a public party and play with those guys if you get stuck. Let's say you get stuck at the boss, you can just put here Boss Pampalula, help, please. You put this on League Start. You also mention the Act 2, so they know. And you wait. And you will see that multiple guys that struggle with this boss will join, and you will do it. This is especially true on League Stars the first week, when there are tons of people playing. So remember of public party play, we even have this video guide on the screen where I show you directly how to do it and explain all the tricks and tips. But again, on League Start, it's much more populated than in this video. So if you join a party, it will be full very fast. Now, if you get stuck in a party, you leave that party and you join another party. Now, my boys, if you want to do this build here, remember that on the Guild Discord server, you have an info channel for the build. Yeah, with some reminders, tricks and tips, trade links and all that good stuff. Not only that, if you get stuck or you have questions, you can scroll here and ask questions. You say, hey boss, I need help. You know, I suck at the game. And I say, oh, that's your problem. And you can write here and we will go have a quality chat together, you know. That's it. Yeah, that's about it. My boys, I almost forgot. So before I close this beautiful video here, in those Warrior League Star scenario guides, those people might allocate different skill tree here for the labs. Yeah, don't worry about the labs. Or if you do a lab, try to allocate in the order which I presented for the Totem Master build here. Now, which this will be the first lab. Basically, when we summon totems, it will also grant us spirits. So this you take for the first lab. Then you want to take this one second lab. Basically, totems will absorb 20% of the incoming damage from hits to them. This is a huge damage mitigation. This will be for the third lab. It will help you block chance. And this will be for the fourth lab. The block becomes empowered. It will block much more things. It's OP as fuck, especially when maxing. And that's about it, my boys. If you have questions, come insult me in the Guild Discord server. Enjoy the rest of the day and good luck.